your overall verdict of the 2026 FIFA World Cup?
Well, I think it was an interesting competition. I think the favorites that we all predicted made a deep run into the tournament. It wasn't a competition that produced a lot of surprises. I think Cape Verde did extremely well, coming in from nowhere. They were the toast of everyone, and I think also another team that deserves a shout is Egypt, who before this tournament had not won the game, but they won a game. So I think all in all, it was like a good tournament. The backstories about ticketing and all that they didn't take the shine away from the tournament. We saw some really good football, especially from Spain, Argentina. Like, Messi at 39, showing to the world he's still one of the best players around. We saw France, Kylian Mbappe breaking the all-time top scorer record. It was a fantastic tournament, and for us Ghanaians Ghana didn't fare bad at all. We won a game for the first time in many official competitions, I should say, and I think we managed to hold England as well. So 4 points, and then from four games we managed to win one, draw one, and lose two. And I think the defeats came against teams that were just extremely too good, or were just better than X. So I think there are lots of positives that you can take from this World Cup, and I think we can build on these positives. As a global football, we can build on this positive going into the next one. I think the next one is going to be played across 6 countries, I should say, because Argentina, Paraguay, and then Uruguay are going to host the first set of games because of the centenary anniversary, and then we move from South America, we'll come to Europe, and then Africa, Morocco hosting, and then Spain and Portugal. So let's see how it goes.
So which team impressed you the most during the 2026 FIFA World Cup?
Which team impressed me the most? I'll pick Argentina. I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but I think nobody expected them to reach the final, especially because we've seen a lot of examples in the past that teams win the tournament and in the next competition they just fail to go far in the competition. I think bar France, the last 4 or 5 editions, anyone who won the competition coming into the tournament didn't even make it out of the group stages. So I think Argentina did a good job, and considering they had like a chunk of the players that have won it in the past in Qatar, there was a bit of a doubt that they could still be motivated, they could still be hungry to try and achieve success. And I think picking up a silver medal was way beyond their expectations, way beyond everyone's expectations. So I'll say Argentina were my surprise packages.
So which team disappointed you the most?
Disappointment? Let's say Portugal, because with the quality that they have at their disposal, we expected them to reach at least the quarterfinals or even the semi-finals, because you're having one of the most informed 3 midfielders coming into this tournament. That's João Neves. I say João Neves, the other guy, Bruno Fernandes and the likes, and Vitinha and the likes. So you expect them to at least reach the final 4. I think it was just down to coaching decisions. The coach was just not bold enough to sacrifice a 41-year-old player for a younger player. So it was just bad decisions that I think cost them. But you could also argue that they lost to a very good side as Spain, who were the eventual winners. So I think Portugal should have topped their group. If they had topped their group, they would have had a more easier path to the latter stages of the competition. And I think they would have faced, They would have faced Switzerland, I think in the round of 16. That was before they would have faced Ghana. So if they had won their group, so I think if they had won their group and come into that part, they would have beaten Switzerland and reached the quarterfinals. Maybe against Argentina, you never know what would have happened there. So Portugal were my disappointing team.
So then, who was your player of the tournament?
Has to be Lionel Messi, because at 39, to do what he did, to score 7 or 8 goals, I'm not too sure about it. 8 goals, and to get 4 assists, that's 12 goal contributions. And if you're looking at the stats of the World Cup, Lionel Messi literally topped all the statistics, all the important statistics in the final third of the field. Most dribbles, most final third passes. He was everywhere, and it tells that undoubtedly is one of the greatest footballers ever. So I think he just stamped his authority on the tournament. Maybe in the final it was a bit subdued, and that was where you could see that the 39-year-old kept telling, because he couldn't pick the ball and make those runs that you expect him, or you used to see Lionel Messi make. So I think player of the tournament, Messi. But you can give shout out to Vozinha in Cape Verde's first appearance at the World Cup. He did extremely well. You can also talk about the Egyptian midfielders in Ashore and the likes. They were brilliant. So Rodri for Spain, and what's the name? The right back, Pedro Porro. Yeah, all these players, they did an extremely good job. They were excellent. And Lamine Yamal, we didn't see the best of him, but I think he showed flashes of brilliance. Nico Williams as well, coming from the bench also as well. So Lionel Messi picks it, but there were lots of good players as well. Mbappe, I forgot to even mention Mbappe. Oh, he ended the tournament as a top scorer. Yeah.
Okay, so the European season is about to start. Which club do you support, and what are you expecting from them?
Well, I support Barcelona, and I think what I expect from Barcelona is maybe Hansi Flick has to just minimize or try and be reasonable with the high line tactic, because we talk about it a lot, and from the past 2 seasons I think is the reason that has caused Barcelona making it to the final of the Champions League, because you can't just expose your back line to brilliant attackers when you in the knockout phase of the Champions League. You'll be punished. So I think that's something that he has to really think through, and maybe in the difficult games, in the games that are make or break, he has to sometimes just abandon the high line and just play tight at the back. Try and go with a more pragmatic approach, especially if Barcelona is leading in games that they have to close up short, they have to set up short and just nick the 3 points and just nick the qualification. You don't have to outscore your opponents every time, because sometimes your attackers will not be clinical enough, and then what happens? And you are out of the competition. So I think that's my expectations of Barcelona. I think he started defending it, but I think with time you get to understand that maybe he's not getting the best out of the centre backs in Pau Kubasi and the likes because of the high line, and he has to really think through and just go pragmatic and get the best out of them in certain games.
Okay, interesting one in there. Quick one: Kylian Mbappe or Lamine Yamal?
Based on
who is the best player right now?
Best player right now? I'll say Lamine. I'll say Lamine is the best player right now. I know you wouldn't understand why, but I feel at his age and what he's doing, with the level of maturity he's playing now, he deserves it. If Mbappe was 19 and you asked me between Mbappe and then someone who is 27, I would have picked Mbappe, because Mbappe in 2018, remember his time at Monaco, everybody you asked said Mbappe because of what he was doing at the time. So I'll pick Lamine simply because of his age and the kind of football he's playing and the level of maturity that he puts into his game. It's really, really exceptional. But that not to say that Mbappe is not a good player. He's a prolific scorer. If you have Mbappe as your centre forward, bro, you are guaranteed at least 30 goals in a season, and that shows you the quality that he also will. But I think different profiles, and one is more of a creator and the other is of a finisher. So, but currently I think Lamine is slightly above Mbappe.
All right. Thank you so much.